So the opposite operation of the power of 4 is the fourth root, and this is how we got the answer. Now, what's happening for this?
Square root of x to the power of 3.
Okay, so the square root of x to the power of 3. Doesn't matter which one we do. So I just wrote it in radical form, right? Okay, now, if you want to solve for x, what do you have to do? What's the word that we just used right now? Like 3 seconds ago. Opposite operation, right? So I want to get rid of all the things that come with the x, so I can isolate for x. I want x by itself. Yes. So we have, tell me what 2 things I have with the x here. I have power of 3 and I have square root. What's the opposite operation of power of 3? Cube root. So the first thing I want to do is to cube root. So if I cube root both sides, that gets rid of the cube, right? Yeah? Now, that means I have left square root of x equal to cube root of negative 27 is negative 3. You guys agree with that? You can do it on the calculator. Now, what else do I have with the x right now? What do I have with the x right now? Square root. What's the opposite of square root? To the power of 2, which is square, right? So to get rid of that square root, I have to square. When I square both sides, yeah? So what does that give me? So this is gone. So x equals to because when you square, if you're going to do this, right, which is the square root of 9 to the power of 3, this is, if you guys want to listen to this, it's up to you, but you don't have to because we don't have to cover this in the C level. When you do the square root of 9, you can have 2 answers for this. It could be a positive 3 or a negative 3, because technically if I raise the positive 3 or the negative 3 to the power of 2, it gives me a 9. Okay, so technically there's 2 answers for this, but we don't have to cover this here. Okay, that's fine. I have an answer. Okay, so what we did is called opposite operation, right? So I'm just going to show you something here. Let's look at this, what I did here. So I raised it to the power of 2, right? And I did a cube root. If I want to do it in one step, how can I do that? So basically I did this to the negative 27. I'm going to write it here, okay? So I did this, right? These are the 2 things that I did to the negative 27. So is that the same thing as writing negative 27 to the power of 2 over 3? 2 over 3? Yeah?
Yeah.
What did I have here?
3 over 2. You just flip it?
Opposite operation. It's just opposite operation.
So it's going to be like negative 27 cube root to the power of 2.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
you know, instead of doing all of this math, I can just take this. So let's look at C. Okay? Eyes on me. If I want to get rid of that 2 over 3, all what I have to do is Do it to the power of 3 over 2.
Over 2.
So if I take the 64 and do it to the power of 3 over 2, that gives me the answer of x. Because what's happening is the 2 over 3 and the 3 over 2, they're going to cancel each other. So, if I raise this to the power of 3 over 2, I have to do the same to the other side. What do you get? Do you get 512? Yeah? Now let's do it step by step. Okay? I can do it in another way where if I take this and I write it as the cube root of x to the power of 2 equals 64. What's the first thing you want to get rid of? The square. If I want to get rid of the square, what do I do? Square root. So let's square root both sides. So I'm showing you both ways, right? If I square root both sides, that get rid of the square. So I'm left with cube root of x equals to what's square root of 64?
8.
It is.
So I write it like as 8 to the power of 2.
Now to get rid of the cube root, what do? I raise it to the power of 3, right? So raise this to the power of 3. That gets rid of the cube root. So I'll be left with x equals to, what's 8 to the power of 3? So I can do it with one step by raising it to the power of the reverse, the flip. Or I can do it step by step. And it's going to give me exactly the same answer.
Either way, it's the same.
Either way, it's the same. And it's not magic. All right, let's look at this word problem that we're going to see a lot of later on. So under annual compounding, an initial investment of $700 grows to $900 in 5 years. Determine the annual interest rate I using the compound formula AP1 plus I to the power of n. So let's look at the scenario. What do I have? What am I starting with? I'm starting with $700, and then what am I ending up with? 900. So started with 700, ended up with 900. So basically your principal, right? So whatever you invested is $700, right? So you put money, you put $700 in. So that represents the letter P. Okay? And then A is how much money you have at the end. So this is the amount that you have in the bank right now. And this is how much you invested. So initial investment. So what do I replace A with? 900. This is how much money you have left in the bank. What did you start with? So I'm replacing P with 700. Do I know what my interest rate is? Or am I looking for this? Do I know what I is? Okay, so let's do the grasp. So the given is the initial, which is P, is 700, and A is 900. And what's that 5 years? What does it represent? What letter? N. N is 5 years. and I'm looking for I. It does say that, right? It says that determine the annual interest rate I. And I'm replacing n with 5. So, how can I isolate for that I? What's the first thing I want to get rid of? The 700. And what do I do to get rid of the 700? Bring it over, what does it become? Addition, division, multiplication, subtraction? What's happening between the 700 and the bracket? So since there's multiplication, when I bring it over, it becomes division. So I do 900 divided by 700 equals to 1 plus I to the power of 5. What do I want to get rid of next? The power of 5. That's right. If I want to get rid of the power of 5, what's the opposite of power of 5? Fifth root. Right? So 900 over 700 is 9 over 7, right? So I can do the fifth root of 9 over 7, and that equals to 1 plus I. What's the fifth root of 9 over 7? Is it 1.05155? Make sure that your 9 over 7 are in brackets. Now I have one more thing to do. I have 1 plus I. How can I find I? You have 1 plus I. You want to get rid of that 1.
Negative,
Subtract 1.
minus 1. It's going to be 0.05, 155.
And because interest rate is in percentage, they don't come and tell you 0.05515. It's percentage. So to find it, just multiply by 100, right? And then that will be 5.2%, right? Because when they give you percentage, they don't say 5.155.